Hello chickens, and welcome back to another travel vlog from me. This time we're off to Marrakech in Morocco. So we basically got our flight after a 9-hour journey and an all-nighter and headed into the centre, which is called the Medina in Marrakech, where our riad was, or our hotel was. Looking at the sights, just gorgeous. I love the architecture, I love the kind of colours of Morocco. They're just, yeah, it's such a great palette for me. I love it. Anyway, we arrived at our riad and had some Moroccan tea, which is mint tea, green tea, and a bit of sugar, and just admired the riad. It was heavenly. We took a long time to pick our hotel, so we picked one with an indoor pool, and then we also picked a really nice room that was very kind of Moroccan style. As you can see, just really lovely decor, very traditional, and it was kind of picked deliberately for that reason. I wanted to have that kind of experience. So yeah, we just chilled out for a bit before admiring more of the kind of hotel and then heading into town. So we walked, it was 20 minutes in, we saw some kind of interesting sights on the way, just loved all the colours. We stopped off at this place which was great because it was boiling and it had a steam spray, so we were kind of cooled down. I enjoyed a nice refreshing smoothie, and we had kind of traditional Moroccan cuisine, which was tagine, and then we headed back, and then we kind of slept, and then the next day we had an explore of the riad a little bit more. We went to the terrace, kind of just did a little bit of sunbathing, soaking up the sun. God, honestly, all of us Brits need to have some sunshine. We were absolutely craving the heat, so yeah, we spent a bit of time up there, which was really gorgeous. And then I did a quick outfit check before heading back into town with Anas. We had a look through some of the stores there, just some really nice trinkets, and just explored a little bit more. Picked up some souvenirs, of course, and just explored the kind of things people were selling. It was really unique, really kind of creative. We went through the market to arrive at a spa where we got a kind of full body cleanse. We did a couple's full body scrub and hair conditioning and that kind of thing. And after our little spa treatment, we headed back through the town, seeing everything again, and then just had a little bit of a chill in the pool when we got back. It was very, very hot that day, so we just really wanted to cool down. The next day was a really exciting day, actually. We had quite a lot planned. The day before, we'd booked to go on a camel ride, so we were looking forward to that. But during the day, we headed to a restaurant. This is definitely my favourite restaurant, I think, that we went to. It had a really nice array of foods, really great flavours, lovely atmosphere. It just felt really pleasant, and I really enjoyed the tagine there as well. We headed over to a museum. I forget what it's called now, but I'm going to put it on the screen. Sorry, not a museum, a palace, a old palace that somebody had given to, I'm guessing, the Moroccan state to look after and preserve. So we walked around there and just kind of reviewed the history of it, who was there, just looking at the architecture. It was gorgeous. I mean, I cannot believe people actually created sort of architecture like this. It was just stunning, and this is exactly what I think of when I think of Morocco, this beautiful style of architecture, artwork. It was just heavenly. Then I enjoyed a little pastry which we got from the market, and Anas bought me a bracelet. I bought some souvenirs for my family as well. And then it was time to head on to our trip to go to the desert and ride some camels, have a nice evening. We stopped off at an argan oil kind of production place. We made some argan oil, or at least ground it down to produce argan oil. As you can see, I'm just really getting the swing of that. We were able to try some of the kind of products there, and then we headed back on the road to go to the desert. It was just lovely to see. Honestly, somebody who hasn't been to Africa before, this was just really novel for me. I loved the views. It was so nice to be in somewhere I kind of fantasise about for a really long time. But it was time to head on to the camels, and we kind of just dressed up in traditional clothing and rode the camels. I was at the front, Anas was behind me, and not gonna lie, Anas's camel kept trying to bite me, which was kind of jarring, but he was alright, he was placid in the end. But it was a really great sort of experience. I can't believe I rode a camel, what the fuck. And then we watched the sunset while we ate dinner. It was a really nice sort of setup. There was various places you could sit, and this really cool sort of stargazing type structure. So we headed in for dinner, and for dinner we just kind of admired the views, had a chat, spoke with other people from the trip, and they served us some soup. We had some tagine. Also, we had such a nice dessert. It was banana and mango combination. After this, we listened to some music and we did like a little dance and sort of activity where we just sung and danced, and then I just had a little bit of a sun gazing experience before heading back to the Riyadh. The next day we headed to Essaouira, which is like a beach area in Morocco on the coast, which I think we were actually really craving. Like, we obviously knew that Marrakech wasn't by the sea, but we were really craving that sort of beach energy, so we headed there for a couple nights, kind of on the cuff actually. We weren't planning to do that. We stayed with a lady called Anna, who was absolutely lovely. She had such a nice home, gorgeous view. We went out for dinner that night to like a Japanese place. It was kind of like first time I dressed up a little bit, so yeah, we got a taxi, headed to a Japanese place called Salt and Pepper. Before this, we kind of walked through the town and the sort of area at night. I kind of preferred the energy in this place. Like, I felt more comfortable, and it was less chaotic than the Medina in Marrakech. Walked through the markets before getting to the restaurant, which was gorgeous, and we did see this the next day actually. But yeah, the restaurant interior was really cool. I really liked the sort of decor, and yeah, there was loads of animals, loads of cats. Not animals, just cats. And we had a really nice salad and a soup, and then of course sushi, before we headed back to Anna's house and rested, admired the view. It was just a really nice place for me to be in with Anas. And then the next morning, made the bed, had a nice breakfast, and again, admired Anna's flat. It was really nice. Had a little stroke with the cat, and then it was time to head out. We walked through the town again in the day, had a look through the stalls, looked at the artwork. We really kind of liked the energy of this place. It was a lot more, I guess, tourist friendly. And yeah, just walked through the town, admiring all the different products and sort of trinkets available before getting lunch. Anas found like a really lovely sort of small plates restaurant in a square. We went to this place called Essaouira, and it was like a really lovely small plates cafe come restaurant, but it was a very chill atmosphere. So we had ginger kombucha, and we ordered some small plates. I think we ordered every single one. It was just heavenly. It was like one of the best meals I've had there. It was obviously a bit more sort of European inspired, but nonetheless it was great. The beetroot dip was incredible. We had some ice cream to end, and then we watched some acrobats under the sort of balcony we were on, who were sort of performing for everybody on the street. So that was a nice little sort of diversion. And then we headed over to like the historical parts, looked at the view from, I'm guessing, the kind of barricades that were there historically for whatever reason, and just admired the view. It kind of became a bit grey actually, but then we decided that we were going to go to the beach. I put on one of Anas's shirts and we headed to the beach. We got offered a camel ride. We rejected it because we had already been on one, and just walked through the beach in the sort of late afternoon, watched the sunset. That was definitely one of my favourite afternoons. It was just so pure. I wasn't thinking about anything other than just admiring, our holiday. And then for dinner, we went to a traditional Moroccan place and had tagine again and some kind of vegetable samosas, and then a little panna cotta, I guess, to end. And then the next day we went to a rooftop restaurant, and we gave in and we had some sort of English food. We had fish and chips, which was actually really lovely. So then we actually decided we were going to spend a night in a sort of bigger villa just on the outskirts of Essaouira. So we went there. We actually picked a different room, which was a lot bigger and really pleasant, and just honestly, the decor was beautiful. I felt so like I'd finally acknowledged or finally realised my Moroccan sort of dream holiday. So I popped in the pool. We both did actually. Had a little swim before having dinner later. At this point, I'm not gonna lie, I felt really unwell. I developed heat stroke, couldn't even eat any of the food. This point I was like so unwell, like I was barely making it through like the food. I felt sick. I was all kind of like fevery, but anyway, we got over it. We went back to Marrakech and had a couple of chill days actually until our flight back home. We very much sort of had slow days, just going for coffee. I didn't film too much from this point. I just felt really unwell, but I did a little bit of retail therapy, and we went to a bakery and just enjoyed some sort of, really kind of high-end baked goods. I know Anas really likes baked goods, so that was really nice. And then enjoyed those, of course. I bought some new shorts, which I actually felt really good about. Like, I felt like I was a bit more, I don't know, comfortable in them. And then the final day we went to actually the cafe next to the Yves Saint Laurent Museum and just had a poke bowl and a nice coffee and really just chilled until our flight. The poke bowl was really good, by the way. And I just basically played with my face before we decided to head to the airport and yeah, head back home. We had some incredible sushi actually in the airport, some of the best I've ever had, no, like low-key. And then we had a terrible flight because somebody fell ill and another customer delayed the flight. So anyway, that was our Marrakech trip. So yeah, thank you and hope you enjoyed.